Yeah, 11:45. I think 5 more minutes, right? Yeah, okay, you can let them in, I guess, right now.
Yeah.
So I think we'll stop our practice now because I think all of us can see and hear each other.
Yes.
Let's
Now
go mute and we'll let Leon continue the program before I come on air and start to introduce each of our speakers. Yeah.
Right.
Is Mr. Bakili also ready, Leon?
Yes. We'll log
Okay,
in a minute.
Do you? Okay, when he's here, let us do a quick sound and AV check with him also.
Okay.
Ini saya ingin memberikan gambaran atau bagaimana sih tantangan saya ingin memberikan gambaran atau bagaimana sih tantangan
and be prepared for the next media exhibition.
Sridhar, you may
Leon?
start.
Leon, can we start?
Yes,
Are you all
please.
set?
Yes.
So hello, everybody. Wish you a slightly belated Happy New Year. It's only 16 days since the start of 2024, but I am very sure it's been a fantastic New Year for all of you. And this is the third of 3 webinars that we are organizing around BUSWORLD Southeast Asia, which is going to happen in May this year, May 15 to 17 this year. So all through last year, we've had a couple of webinars last year where we've talked about the opportunities in Indonesia, and also what do Indian suppliers promise to bring to the Indonesian bus market, and how can they collaborate together. And at BUSWORLD, we are very, very keen to promote this fruitful collaboration through knowledge. So you come to Indonesia, you exhibit at BUSWORLD Southeast Asia based on a strong foundation of knowledge. So towards this end, this being the final part of a 3 webinar series, we are proud to have delegates from 4 different locations across the globe. So right from Belgium, where I believe it's 10 centimeters of snow and people are awake pretty early in the morning, to the Middle East, the UAE. We have a very important delegate from there, where it should be hopefully more pleasant weather. We come further east to India, where you might call it winter in some parts and not so much winter in other parts. And then we come to Indonesia, which is the home of BUSWORLD Southeast Asia. So a warm welcome to all of you. I cannot say one good morning or one good afternoon, but please accept my greetings irrespective. So, and let's look forward to a very enjoyable discussion going forward. We will build upon the themes that we have taken down in the first 2 webinars, like I mentioned. and we will get an insightful exchange of views between the panelists so that you as audience come away informed. And I will, of course, be very happy to take your questions at the end of the discussion, which I promise will be very interesting. So without much delay, let me invite our first speaker, Mr. Baki Lee. Can we see you? Mr. Baki Lee is director of the GEM Indonesia. GEM is a local partner and co-organizer of BUSWORLD in Indonesia, and they are sparing no effort to put together a fantastic show, and they've got a great team. So Mr. Baki Lee, the stage is all yours.
Okay. Mr. Sridhar, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to the all speakers to join this the second BUSWORLD webinar in 2024. Okay. BUSWORLD Southeast Asia has entered the third edition, so we see the exhibition, the growing every year, and we create the opportunity for the exhibitors and visitors to have the collaboration. So we invite all the bus suppliers, bus bodybuilders, and any company who will involved in the bus industry. So BUSWORLD South Asia is one of the platform, is a very good opportunity for any company who are involved in the bus industry to come here. You will see a lot of opportunity in Indonesia right now. Not Indonesia, but all for Southeast Asia. Especially for the Indonesia situation, we know Indonesia is one of the biggest economy in Southeast Asia. So we can say 40% population in Southeast Asia are staying in Indonesia right now. And then the bus industry currently is growing very fast. So a lot of the bus project are going right now. So the government already has a roadmap, a planning to provide about 40,000 units of electric bus until 2030. Besides that, for the electric bus, we also have a lot of projects for the bus, for the BRT system right now. So this is one of the opportunity, because Indonesia still need more cooperation with any country. So especially for the South Asia is one of our target. So today we are my friend Mr. Somi is one of the former chairman for the Indonesia Bodybuilder Indonesia. So South Asia is one of the main project or main target to have a cooperation between Indonesia and South Asia. So this is a good chance, good opportunity, how to have the opportunity to build the cooperation between the South Asia country and Indonesia during this BUSWORLD South Asia 2024. So I hope this webinar will be able to create an opportunity to understanding about South Asia market and Indonesia market for the bus industry. So in the end, they have a good cooperation and future. Thank you. So we hope you all enjoy for this webinar today.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you very much for the inspiring words and for setting the context. I can say a bit more, but I will wait for Vincent to also deliver his comments. And then perhaps I can summarize what the two of you have said. So Vincent, for most of you may not need an introduction. Vincent is the general manager of BUSWORLD International. He is in charge of taking BUSWORLD to global markets for exhibitions. And he has been a very keen pioneer of India-Indonesia collaboration in the bus industry. So over to you, Vincent.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to this webinar. First of all, my greetings for 2024. I hope everyone will have a fruitful and healthy year coming on. Some years ago, we started a collaboration with GEM to start an exhibition in Jakarta, Indonesia. And we have to say that even due to COVID, the exhibition was locally very successful. For 2024, we had the aim to internationalize the exhibition, and that's why we contacted Mr. Sridhar for the Indian country to contact as much as possible suppliers to come to our exhibition and to share their knowledge, their products into the Indonesian market. We all know that Indonesia is a big country, a lot of people, a lot of challenges at stake. So it's obvious that a country like India, with a huge potential in production of spare parts, production of buses, production of any kind of product related to buses, should be and is a correct match to set up. Lately, we have noticed that Mr. Sridhar was able already to get some exhibitors for the Indonesian and Jakarta exhibition. And it means that our webinars, now we have the third and the last before the exhibition, are really fruitful and was a good set of strategy to get people into the exhibition and to open our platform in Southeast Asia for many countries. We are not only pushing in India to get international players into the market, but we are also pushing in China. And you will see in May, if you attend the exhibition, we will have also a concentration of Chinese suppliers who are, of course, as important as the Indian suppliers. Thank you again for joining this webinar. We are very happy to be with you and to share our knowledge and the knowledge that is active in our BUSWORLD community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you, Vincent. So, these are the two main people behind putting together the exhibition and the concept for our show. Just to summarize what they said, first thing is about the Indonesian market. Is my screen frozen? Can you all see me? Yeah, okay. First thing that we need to get 4 facts that we can present why Indonesia is an attractive bus market. First thing, Indonesia is moving its capital from Jakarta to Nusantara, a planned green city with green mobility, e-mobility being planned. Number 2, as Mr. Lee mentioned, 45,000 electric buses to be acquired in the next 5 years, 6 years. Then we are going to see investment of about $70 billion in highway development, which means that you will see a lot of high quality intercity buses being launched in Indonesia, much the same way that it happened in India when our big highways were built. So that is a huge opportunity both for electric and for conventional buses. And Indonesia is also a pretty big market when it comes to older vehicles, which are reconditioned and resold. So on the whole, the fresh bus market, the new bus market, both are exciting. And irrespective of political changes, this looks like a long-term strategy for Indonesia to succeed. So with these few words, Leon, can you please change the slide? Yeah. So enough of hearing from me. I think you'll be better served listening to our experts, people who actually have invested and are set to invest money in Indonesia. So we have an exciting panel with us, as you can see, led by Mr. Mohammed.
Sridhar, I think we cannot hear you anymore. Or is it just me? No, we can't hear him.
Yeah, I think his Wi-Fi is some problem.
Okay.
And all participants. My name is from Indonesia.
Leon or Bakili, can you take over the moderation until Sridhar is back?
All right. I think we lost Sridhar connection. And now let us allow Mr. Ridwansyah to, I know the opening, hold on. Let us, Mr. Giridaran, to give his keynote address. Mr. Giridaran, are you ready? Operator? Yeah, okay.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, please.
So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone.
I'm extremely sorry, all of you for having dropped out. Mr. Giridharan, warm welcome to you. You can please have your keynote address.
Yeah, I've tried to share my screen. I hope this is visible. Please let me know. It is very
Yes,
fine. Thank you. Yeah, sure. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, and a warm welcome to this webinar, and greetings from Uno Minda. So I represent Uno Minda as the Deputy CEO of the Safety and Comfort Systems domain, and it's my pleasure to be addressing you and discussing with you today. Quick word about Uno Minda. Uno Minda is among the leading auto component players in India since 1958. So let's see if I can get a laser pointer. Yes. So last financial year, we closed with a 130 billion rupees, or which is $1.57 billion group turnover. We are among the top 200 listed companies in India. We have 73 plants globally, of which one of the plant is in Indonesia. We'll come to that later. And the key thing is we have 26 product lines addressing all the products which any automotive would want. And we can proudly say that in every corner of the world, we have our parts running in automotives, including buses. And we have a vision to make it a sustainable global organization, and buses being one of the most sustainable transport operations, and I think it would be great for us to be associated more on the bus business. We have 26 product lines, as I mentioned, and these product lines are divided into different domains. And you can see around 5 to 6 such businesses are grouped together into different domains. And I represent the safety and comfort systems domain, where one of the products is seats, which we do supply to Daimler in Indonesia now with a local plant. And the others are in terms of switches, sensors, actuators, and so on and so forth. On the light metals and powertrains, filters, alloy wheels, castings, and LPG, CNG kits. And on the lighting and acoustics, lamps, speakers, and horns. So that's a quick update on Uno Minda for you. I'll now move on into the Indian economy. Indian economy in the region is growing the fastest, and also aspires to become a 5 billion trillion economy. So very gung-ho about this when the rest of the world is not seeing so much of growth. And very glad to see that, also our, ASEAN partners, Indonesia and the majority of them, have a growth of more than 5%. So we should be leading the world in terms of growth going forward. And in this, I think we can do a big thing in terms of partnership. As regards India and Indonesia, we have had civilizational connections for more than 2,000 years. We have been maritime neighbors, strategic partners, and close relationships. But in terms of current trade for India, Indonesia is the second largest trading partner in ASEAN, and the trade is growing, and it is likely to go up almost to $40 billion US. And we have a target to do 50 billion by 2025, and it's a mutual target. It's not just one way from India or from Indonesia. And the items that are exported from India to Indonesia, things like petroleum products, motor vehicles, cars, sugar, and maritime items, and iron and steel. And you can see from the graph that it's a good growth, both on the import and the export side, there is good growth. Uno Minda supplies primarily to OEMs, which is original equipment manufacturers who make motorcycles, scooters, cars, trucks, tractors, commercial vehicles, and so on. So way back in 2004, at the request of some of our customers, we set up business in Indonesia. This was trading initially for 1 year. And in 2005, we started PTMA, which is manufacturing PT Minda ASEAN Automotive. So we manufacture, and some parts are traded where the volumes are not very big. And the parts that we supply are electrical switches, lever holder assemblies, which you can see here, horns, which is here, and lighting solutions, which is here, and commercial seats, which is in the far corner. And this goes to different customers, Yamaha, Toyota, Kawasaki, Piaggio, and Daimler. And the key thing is that we have a strong technical support from our head office located in India. And in-house manufacturing capabilities are there, which we have ensured that they reach Indonesia from our end. And if you look at the timeline of how we have done it, apart from the plant in Indonesia, we also set up a small plant in Vietnam, strengthening our ASEAN presence. And in 2016, we started doing the commercial vehicle seats, and the localization of seats happened in 2021. So you can see the progress. Start with trading, move into manufacturing, product-wise, and then start with trading again, move into manufacturing, and we are looking at newer opportunities at this point. And one of the newer opportunities would be Uno Minda would be participating in the BUSWORLD Indonesia, primarily displaying the seats, so to explore the opportunities there. If you do look at our presence and the presence of our customers, we are sort of southwest of Jakarta, southeast of Jakarta, sorry. And you would see proximity to customers is important. So Toyota is here, Piaggio is here, Kawasaki is here, and this is where PT Minda Automotive is. So we are in the middle locator of our customers so that we can supply to all of them with greater proximity and just in time. How did we assess the Indonesian market is in terms of a strategic assessment, we are very strong in India in the two-wheeler market, and Indonesia is the world's third largest two-wheeler market. So that was a good fit. It's an export hub for ASEAN, and also there's a good support to global customers. We supply to all the Japanese majors, which is Yamaha, Honda, Kawasaki in India, and they're all present in Indonesia, and they're the market leaders. So it became a good fit. And also, there's a good demand potential. In terms of the product, ours is a self-developed product with reliable technology. So when I say self-developed, it is localized by us, so there is no need for us to do importing. This is important. I will come to you later. You can see, or I can talk about it now. There's a need for local content norms. Local value addition should be at least 40% for availing certain government or regulatory subsidies. So this is something which is essential to make the operations viable. So it's important for localization and having our own technology so that the import dependence is reduced. So since we had our own product, there was no need for a partner. And in terms of import regulations in Indonesia, we found is an easy market to work with. There are no negative lists in the auto components. So whatever we make can be localized or produced locally there. And in terms of the documentation and approvals, we had a convenient time. We had a single window approval system, which exists not just for the automotive. I think it's there for the entire business. And within 3 to 4 months, you get all the approvals, and there is one coordinating body, which is the Investment Coordinating Board, the BKPM, which is part of the Trade Ministry and Customs Department. So there's also on the supply chain and the distribution network, we did not have any hurdles. But of course, I will also be handing over to my colleague, Mr. Dafitri, who will talk about this in a couple of minutes. I will take 2 more slides and then hand over to him for him to talk about that. This is like carrying coal to Newcastle. I think Mr. Baki Lee, Mr. Somi, they are the experts in this, saying what are the opportunities in India, especially for roads, the public transport, the BRT system, change of capital to Nusantra. So what are the opportunities that are coming up? So essentially, the key point is there is a big potential out there in Indonesia, and which is there for people to tap. And the BUSWORLD does give an opportunity for people to step in and see what the real opportunity is. In terms of our views on what other Indian suppliers would face, is that they would face a tough competition from Japanese and Chinese. Japanese from the technology end and China from the price end. So price would be difficult to compete. Technology is the way to compete, is our view. So that is our take on the advice for Indian suppliers. How did we do it? We had long relationship with Japanese suppliers because we have multiple joint ventures. Out of the 17 joint ventures that we have, you can see here that there are 9 of them who are from Japan, and these have helped us to ensure that we are linked to the Japanese OEMs, and with the OEMs also pivoting from China alone to China plus one strategy, and also de-risking the supply chain. This gives a good opportunity. In terms of the thrust, the post-COVID, the public transport is reviving. There was a dip in the public transportation during the COVID time, and this is a good time. Also changed to the EV infrastructure. So we have a whole range of EV products, and anybody who has the EV ecosystem supplies, and I think this is a good market to step in. And in terms of localization, right quality to be cost effective, and the right time is important. I mentioned that 40% is a minimum requirement in terms of localization. What we have been able to do is more than 70%. So it is eminently feasible. And it can also become a base for exports to the ASEAN market. So I have one more slide, but before that, I would like to hand over to my colleague, Mr. Daftari, a few words about him. Mr. Daftari is the plant head in our plant in Indonesia. So, Mr. Daftari, could you get on to your video and comment, please?
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Giri. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. And my screen also, my video also working? Sorry.
We can't seem to see you, Mr. Dafitri.
Okay. Nevertheless, but I try to activate it in my video. It seems
yeah. Now we can see you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Giri, and thank you for the dear available audience. I cannot mention one by one the name. I would like to take 2 minutes time slot only to brief about how our organization were here available now. So first of all, of course, I have to like to introduce again, as Mr. Giri already brief about my background, that my name is Dafitri. Now I'm acting get an opportunity to handling all the plant operation in Indonesia since last 2 years, and then as Mr. Giri told also, I was associated with Uno Minda Group since 2005. Okay, since this company was under development stage, during that time, yes, I would like to share. Maybe I would like to testify how my journey with our beloved organization, as we call that, this organization is learning organization for all of us Indonesian in here. You know, that the starting with how was at earlier stage we are face a lot of challenge, you know, when this new investment coming from Indian continent, that you know, completely fully 100% foreign investment to Indonesia. There is no local association of partnership in Indonesia. So now first stage that we are facing a lot of challenge. First of all, yes, when this initial state that our founding father in here quite a lot have facing, you know, obstacle to get the appropriate human resources. Yes, Indonesia fully human resources also, but during the initial state needs some time so that they will get the right candidate. So that's why I'm part of it also. So and then we are here past that era with a dynamic condition, and then especially as this company was fully foreign investment, no assistance also from the local partnership, but our management team very believe that they would be able to transforming our local team in Indonesia, where all of them was very in the background from the local mindset to become the global mindset. So actually now, as per Mr. Giri information, the challenges currently, yes, as per the presentation itself, was telling that the most challenges in supply chain. But slowly, for the last 2 years, we are here try to minimize the risking the supply chain. And as informing also by Mr. Giri, the 75 of product in Indonesia plants have been localized also. So now we are try to improve day to day, month to month, year on year also about our inventory management, including the part of it, the supply chain in here. So now, as per your information only, I would like to share that our ITR now, inventory turn ratio, now much improved for the last 2 years, since we do some localization also, where we face the obstacle to manage the import item earlier. Now much improved. And also slightly information I would like to share also, that maybe to the, you know, whosoever the stakeholder we stay in India would like to business in Indonesia, that I would like become the convinced that we are here in Indonesia actually ready to support any kind of investment, particularly in the bus world, because as we all know that bus business in Indonesia very much growing expandingly. So, and also related to the resources of human, also system also now become much easy from our government also. That will be give some certain confidence and trust for the any investment or investor from overseas to conduct their business in Indonesia. And that's my slide brief and testimony about how our organization running now. Because our product line I would not share it, because Mr. Giri have been detailing explain to all of us. So all the best to all of you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Davitri. I will take 1 more minute to talk about the final slide that I have, the closing slide, which is, about Uno Minda. We have a very long-standing relationship with OEMs. We have 6 decades of preferred supplier status. We try to locate ourselves close to each customer. So that's why I showed you the map also, where the proximity is important. We are strategic and also technology-driven alliances. We don't, bring just commodity products. We bring technology products which meet the customer requirements, including a whole range of EV products. And in terms of trustworthiness, we have very strong supplier base, so we can be trustworthy in terms of no interruptions to our supply chain. And Mr. Davitri was also mentioning that is a very key area which we manage well. We have strong R&D capabilities. We have 33 R&D and engineering centers globally, and we have a good aftermarket distribution network, which covers not just India, but also overseas. And in terms of ensuring that we can be, strategic suppliers, we have a good cyber risk management, we have robust systems and governance mechanisms and good, HR practices. And through this medium of BUSWORLD, we can also, give part of our experience of setting up a plant in Indonesia and what we went through. If there is somebody else interested, thank you so much, Sridhar and everyone else, Jan, for giving us this opportunity. That's it from my end. Thanks.
Mr. Giri, we had sent you a set of points on which you could make your keynote address, but even I couldn't have thought that we could have such a great presentation. I'm sure that all the potential Indian suppliers who want to invest in Indonesia will want to look at this presentation. We will make it available to them. Many congratulations for what you've achieved in Indonesia, Mr. Giridharan, among other markets. I really liked the earnestness of your Indonesian plant head. Very sincere, very comprehensive. And I think we also know that you will be a part of the exhibition with the seats, Mr. Giridharan. So I think it will be in the interest of both Indian and Indonesian industry that you contemplate localizing your seats in Indonesia at some point. Yeah. So with that hope and gratitude for your presentation, let me move on to the panel discussion now. So can we have the first speaker slide here, Leon, Mr. Muhammad slide? Yeah. So we have the honor, after having heard the excellent keynote address, of listening to Mr. Muhammad. He is, like I mentioned earlier, the director of the Indonesia Investment Promotion Center. It is a very proactive and dynamic body with the sole purpose of promoting investment in Indonesia from this region, Middle East, South Asia, and they specialize in arranging matchmaking sessions and also providing access to relevant policy-making quarters in Indonesia. So, Mr. Mohammed, I've given an overview. You could possibly share some insights on what your organization does and how could you help in this context of South Asia and Indonesia collaboration. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sridhar, for the kind introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for all audience. Mr. Sridhar, can I share my screen?
Absolutely, absolutely. Please do.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So basically, our organization is based in Abu Dhabi, but our covered area is Middle East, South Asia, and North Africa. We're part of the BKPM. Very well done with Mr. Giridharan from Uno Minda. The presentation was for the Ministry of Investment, will be the music for our ears, because the well-establishment of Uno Minda in Indonesia is a proof of how the foreign investors could do well in Indonesia. Just a quick information regarding the investment in Indonesia in terms of why Indian investors or any foreign investors need to consider Indonesia as their investment destination. We'll give you 4 basic reasons. So first of all, we have stable economic growth with 5.2% real GDP growth. In the last 10 years, we have averaged 5% growth, in exception with the COVID year to 2020 and 2021. We're also the 4th most populous country in the world with the population of 275 million people. This is one of the huge market. If we also consider Asian market, then it will be 600 million plus people. Government also have changed a lot in these last 10 years. For instance, like Mr. Giridharan mentioned that the approval will need like 3 to 4 months. We now have online single submission. So the idea is you can do anywhere and anytime. So the submission of the investment license could do through online. You still need to have a notary to handle some of the paper on the ground, but if you already get and prepare the document, then you can do this online. And also we have a huge middle income class that require the economic lifestyles with high mobile penetration and e-commerce that boom not only in Indonesia but also in other part of the world. As we can see in the next slide, we are the biggest Southeast Asia market. Most of at the heart of Asian, Indonesia represents 41% of population with 36% of economy of the region. So this is just to show you how big Indonesia in terms of this market, and is a perfect location for your interest to expand to the Southeast Asian market. Roughly each year we receive around 60 to 80 billion US dollars of worth of investment. This is domestic and also foreign direct investment. So we try to make it balance between the domestic investment and the foreign ones. But in the last few years, we can see that the domestic direct investment is taking over from the foreign direct investment. Also in the location-wise, we want to have it more outside Java investment location. So not only centralized in Java Island. So we want to have it in also in Sumatra, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, and also Papua, the other 5 big islands in Indonesia. We have 50 big cities in Indonesia, across Indonesia. So this is something that foreign direct investors would like to consider. In terms of sectors, we can see there are some sectors that dominate in the Indonesia investment landscape. For instance, like on 2019, we have transportation, electricity, housing, industry, and basic metal and mining. While in 2023, we see that some of the sectors are rising up, like industry and basic metal. We have very focus on the nickel smelting regarding the our aim to build the supply chains of EV battery. So nickel and cobalt is one of the priority from the investment side. In terms of we have abundant natural resources for manufacturing raw material. We have for Indian companies that would like to set up operational or production facility in Indonesia. We have you name it, like coal, nickel, tin, the mineral resources, as along with the agricultural like palm oil, coconut, rubber. We have so the contribution of mineral and coal is in priority downstream industry is $431 billion US, while oil and gas only consists of $68 billion US. The other parts of it, like marine, fishery and plantation, is of $45 billion US. So this is just to show you how abundant natural resources of Indonesian have. From our side, Ministry of Investment and BKPM, we provide end-to-end services. We cannot say that investing in Indonesia easy, but we'll make sure it will worth it for your effort and any resource that you given to the Indonesian side. So from promoting side, we have 9 abroad office, overseas office in the world. One of them in Abu Dhabi. We have in Singapore, Seoul, Tokyo, New York, London, Taipei, and Sydney. We also bridging potential partner with related stakeholders in Indonesia. For instance, like as I already mentioned to Mr. Sridhar, if any of audience would like to meet with the any government institution, we could arrange it. Or if you want to meet with the business association, any particular company, we could definitely arrange it. And the third one is we could assist you for the procedure and licensing, because the license, the principal license and the single identity number will be published from the Ministry of Investment Office. In terms of financial closing, we could arrange you, provide you with some of the Indonesian state-owned banks. We could get you engaged with them, and also any other. We also have a deputy that handle the investment aftercare, that facilitating any other problems that the investor will have. So basically, there are 2 basic information before the foreign investors would like to invest in Indonesia. The first one is they need to have like minimum investment plan, $700,000 US, or equivalent with 10 billion Indonesian rupiah. So this is based on the law number 20/2008 regarding small medium enterprise. So the government would like to protect their SMEs. So in terms of this, the foreign investors could not compete with the small medium businesses. They need to be higher from SMEs to give like added value to the Indonesian economy. So other than the minimum investment, they need to have the sectors that align with the government regulation, presidential number 49 year 2021, because one of the information is the UNOMINDA mentioned about the negative list. We will no longer apply the negative list, but now we change to the positive list. So any priority sectors that government would like to have was in those regulations. So any investors that would like to invest, they could come to us and consult about this, and we could definitely assist them. So this is just to show you the slight difference between the limited liability companies that need minimum investment $700,000 US, and the one that you could also establish representative office, so you don't need the 700,000 US dollars for minimum for the paid up capital, but there are some limitation for this representative office because you cannot do any trading and other. So it only market research and also regulatory study for the Indonesian market. So I will not explain more. So just to give you some idea of how the Indonesia open up and inviting all the investors to expand and establish their business in Indonesia. We also reduced the corporate income tax since 2020 from 25% to 22%. This is just to show you the tax incentive we have. We have a tax holiday up to 20 years regarding the based on the sectors and industries. And this is the India investment realization in the last 5 years. We could see that there are quite increasing numbers in the last years with 191 million US dollars. This is their sectors and the location of the Indian investment. So basically, the hotel and restaurant was the contribute as the first rank, and then textile, and then trade and repair, and mining, and also rubber plastic industries. While they're located in West Java mostly, and Jakarta, Banten, and also Bali, the location. This is the other data from FDI markets from Financial Times to show you where the Indian investment mostly located. We can see that UAE, US, and UK still as a dominant location. We see Indonesia below Qatar with 27 projects. This is outside of the BUSWORLD, but we already have 69 ready to offer projects with the pre-feasibility studies. So for those of you that has interest with these projects, we will be happy to assist you and facilitate you further. I think I will conclude my presentation here, Mr. Sridhar. Happy to answer any question later.
Mr. Mohammed, I think we are setting a new standard today. After the excellent presentation from Mr. Giri, we have a fantastic presentation from you as well. I mean, you have answered a lot of questions that will be relevant and topmost in the minds of Indian investors seeking to come to Indonesia. With your permission, can you please share your presentation so that we can make it public on our website? So
sure.
You know, if there are some inquiries, as you've generously offered to help, we'll be very happy to pass them on to you for support and necessary action.
Sure, Mr. Sri.
Thank you very much. Can we next move to the next speaker, Leon? So the next speaker is Sriram. I happen to know him for a fair bit of time. He is director of Telma Induction Brakes. Essentially, Telma is the world's leader when it comes to electromagnetic retarders, a key component for bus safety, especially as we are getting into more high-capacity buses running on high-quality roads, which Indonesia will have more and more of. So Sriram, over to you.
Thank you, Sridhar. So can I have the presentation, Sridhar?
Leon, can you please support with running the slides? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So thanks, good afternoon. Thanks, Sridhar, Vincent, Leon, Jan, Giridhar, and other co-panelists. And I thank everyone for this opportunity. Thanks, BUSWORLD organizing team for this opportunity. And I invite everyone, every audience for this presentation. So I am representing a company named Telma, which is a leader in electromagnetic retarder. We call this as an auxiliary braking system. It's very important part when it comes for a safety point of view on high-speed buses or trucks. So I will now start the presentation with that. Next slide, please. Telma is a 75-plus-year old company. It was a value company before, and now it's completely owned by a French investment team. So I do not want to keep you dragging on this history. So we are very, very popular in terms of braking system, and Telma is very well known in most of the truck OEM and bus OEM segment. And we are now operating from India. We started our Indian operations in 2022 effectively. We saw there is a huge maturity in the Indian market, and I feel the same would happen in Indonesia, and that's the interest we are now want to exhibit in the Indonesian market. Next. Yeah, as I said, we have to be known as an auxiliary braking system. So something which supports the fundamental braking or primarily take over the fundamental braking and save lives and save braking system and save tires and save fuel. So all that can happen. And the speciality of Telma is the friction free. You don't have to, there is no friction between the components for it to brake like any other fundamental braking. And we are also very popularly called as an emission-free brake with most of the environment focus in mind, and the world is going towards the more eco-friendly way of happening things. So we are known as emission-free braking. So friction-free can call me friction-free braking or an emission-free braking. For somebody who wants to know more about this braking, and I can explain you guys on the offline presentation. Next. Okay, as I said before, fundamentally, why Telma is safety. So what happens in a fundamental braking is generally there is an instantaneous braking. So there need to be with the high speed 18-ton, 24-ton buses, and also a lot of hilly terrains like in Indonesia, and a lot of terrain specific applications. So it is appreciated that you need to have for a safety point of view, school buses, ambulances world over have retarders, and Telma is very popular. And you have a savings through Telma, so you don't have to change fundamentally the fundamental brakes for 7 times a year. So there is a significant ROI which you get from Telma. Next. Comfort. So the one thing which driver enjoys or the bus passenger enjoys is the comfort of braking. You don't even feel that the brake has been applied. It's very smooth, it's very linear, and then you can stop. Unlike your fundamental braking, the fundamental braking, the liner brakes and the disc brakes, you may have sudden stoppages, and that may jerk you. And that's not the case when it happens with Telma. It's very comfortable. Any driver who have driven the vehicle, a truck or a bus with Telma would definitely opt for a Telma option. The driver, it's more a driver friendly and a passenger friendly component. And of course, I said it before, it's an environment, no particle, no friction, no noise, is absolutely an environment friendly. So road safety, cost savings, reliability, simplicity, these are all we stand for Telma. Next. Okay, so what happened in which brought us to India? So we are basically a French major, and we are very popular among the government segment, among the bus segment, among the we got into India specifically. There is a regulation which is driving this market. Okay, unlike in any part of the world, it's the regulations has to drive the market. So effective 1st April 2022, all vehicles above 5 ton in the category, we call it as, maybe the specifics can changes a bit. I was talking to Swami the other day. So there are the upcoming regulations which is happening in Indonesia can also have these kind of a safety specific requirements. So any intercity bus, any tourist buses, any sleeper coaches need to comply with endurance braking test. So endurance braking test, it's not calling it for retarders directly, but this endurance braking can happen only more effectively with Telma's component fitted in the buses. So it is very smooth, very comfort, as I said it before. So Daimler in India, Ashok Leyland in India, name any OEMs in India, Telma is most preferred retarder option. And we have been homologated. We have different optional fitments. We can fit it on the axle, we can fit it on the gearbox, we can fit it on the vehicle specific. So many recreation vehicle in India have retarders. So we are okay. I do not want to get into the specifics of vehicle, the bus market. We are almost 8,000, 6,000 to 8,000 intercity buses. Almost 80% of the buses are nowadays fitted with retarders. And intracity, the urban, what you talk about specific 45,000 buses, electric, there is some other option available, but those area where stop and go application also carries retarder. Next. Okay, tractor trailers, especially tractor trailers about 12 ton, need to have comply with an endurance braking test in India, effective 1st of April 2022. So this gives another opportunity of 30,000 vehicles, though the implementation is here and there. But if this effectively gets implemented, we are talking about close to around 25 to 30,000 vehicles with retarders in India. Next. Gas transportation, worldwide ADR, we call it as an ADR vehicle under the agreement in the UN treaty. I'm sure that this will happen in Indonesia. The dangerous and hazardous goods vehicles have to comply with an endurance braking test. This is around 5,000 to 6,000 vehicles in Indian market now. Next. Okay. So Telma is one company in electromagnetic retarder. So there are several such companies. We may see some Chinese players also, but the range and the application and the versatility which we have, no other OEMs have. So we can clearly stand out. We do around 15 to 20,000 retarders worldwide. The second best could be around 2,000 or 3,000. So we have several options. The smallest size, even a car can be fitted with a retarder. So the retardation will be smooth. And some of the Ford Endeavors and some Range Rovers in India, they have tried with retarder. The 350 Newton meter small ones, we have ourselves fitted. Most of the recreation vehicles for most of the celebrities in India, we have fitted retarders. So I have said, so from 350 Newton meter, somewhere to 4,000 Newton meter, even the bullet trains in some segments have a retarder. The wind turbines have a retarder. So this is a very versatile component as such. Next. Okay, so we are on the last slide. So as I told Sridhar specifically, we just want to first get the introduction on, and we are looking at the Indonesian market for the first time. We know we have fitted some trucks, mining trucks in Indonesia, but we are interested. We know it is more or less similar to the Indian market, and with the motivation from the co-panelists and other people whom I'm talking to in last 2 weeks. So I'm really thrilled to be a part of this Indonesian BUSWORLD exhibition. So we are working out all the other modalities, and the most of the OEMs would prefer, and the regulations will also drive the endurance braking and the safety and the environment. All we will contribute much effectively to the progress of the Indonesian market. And we are happy to be here. And again, I thank Sridhar, Vincent, Leon, everyone for this opportunity. We will continue to interact. And Sridhar, you can share my presentation with other panelists and also with the audience. So I'll be more than happy to answer now and answer later also. So again, happy Sridhar. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was again a very crisp presentation, Sriram. You addressed both the commercial and technical aspects in a very good way. And I will come to the questions, of course, around cost and all, which we had discussed offline with Mr. Swami. But I'll first get the other speakers online. I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest in your retarders as we go along in the discussion.
Thank you.
So for now, let me invite the next speaker. Our next speaker is Aditya Patankar. He is Managing Director, Operations of Migma Pactron. They make vacuum form products for a range of OEMs, both in the automotive and non-automotive space in India. They are a very old company located in central India in a city called Indore. And they pride themselves on the quality. So Aditya, over to you.
Yeah, hi, Sridhar, thanks for the lovely introduction that you gave. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to everyone who have joined us for this webinar. I would give some brief introduction of what we do here in India in terms of thermoforming. I would just like to share my screen.
Sure.
Yeah, is it visible to everyone?
Yes, it is. Yeah, go ahead.
Just to brief you to what we are, who we are, and what we do, we are basically manufacturing of thermoformed automotive components for the commercial vehicle and the electric vehicle applications. Now, thermoforming, generally people, do not understand what thermoforming is. I know many of the panelists and many of the people who have joined us might know, but I'll just brief you to what it is. So what we do is we take a plastic sheet, we heat it between the two heaters, we press the tool on it, and then we take a vacuum. This vacuum, in turn gives the shape of the tool, and then we cool it. That's how we make this product. Basically, our products are used to improve the aesthetics. So you can say that we are people who are trying to improve the aesthetics of the commercial vehicles and the electric vehicles in the commercial segment. As when you know that even the buses are going towards the line of what car interiors are like. That's where we pitch in. That's where we try to eliminate the FRP or the conventional sheet metal components to well fit aesthetically pleasing components. The company was started by Mr. Ashok Patankar way back in 1988, and that's where our roots are. If we see this vacuum forming or thermoforming, and currently we are providing our services to nearly all the OEMs in India. Made with Tata or Volvo, Eicher, SML, etc., etc. We basically make common components in ABS, HDP, HIPS, PC acrylic. These are various types of thermoplastics in which the components are made. So our mission is basically to produce a world-class quality material and satisfy our customers. We are also working hand to hand with our technical expertise and try to give our services at the best possible ways to our customers. So, as I told you, we have been catering to a big market in India, from north to south, from Chandigarh to down south till Trichy. We are supplying to many of the OEMs. Uh, uh, the main strength of our company is that we have a very low turnaround time. From inception to development to fitting the part in the bus, the component in the bus, until the SOPs. Talking about the infrastructure, currently we are having a setup of around 35,000 square feet of manufacturing area, 100 plus employee strength. We have a thermoforming R&D center at our premises itself. We do all the tools in-house, be it just prototyping or maybe SOPs and mass productions. We can draw a part of around 800 to 800 mm, 850 mm height. We are having currently all the advancements that we can see in the thermoforming world right now. As I said, we have a lot of empowerment given to the quality in terms of quality. So that is why we do not trim our parts. The final trimming is generally done on maybe robots or the 5-axis routers that we have. Obviously, we had to have a engineering and R&D center because this is a very niche skill. The thermoforming is very niche skill, and you need to have your engineering back team all working all around 24/7. Also, we do components for reverse engineering as well. The components that are conventional right now, maybe in sheet metal or FRP, and if there's a need to convert into ABS thermoform components. Advantages being it's a lightweight component, it's aesthetically pleasing, you don't need paint. So these are all the advantages of vacuum form components, where now we are pitching in to convert these conventional materials like sheet metal and FRP initially in the commercial vehicle and now in the electric vehicle as well, because electric vehicle really need to be light in weight to give more and more range. We are having our in-house tool rooms wherein we make our own tools. So as I told you, turnaround times is way less. Sorry. So that helps our customers to to be on time for their customers. Currently, we are having 4 vacuum forming machines, and the 5th one is will be commissioned by say April 2024. The maximum width that and length that we can make is 2600 mm into 1.3 1300 mm, and the draw of around 800 mm, as I told you. So after the vacuum forming is done, we need a very precision trimming, and for that we have a dedicated 5-axis trimmers and routers and robots as well, which trims very bulky components and very complex components like the dashboards and inner trims, etc. Now, certainly, talking about dashboards, dashboards have a lot of components wherein the dashboard has to be fitted on FES. So they have to be given a lot of inserts from inside that go and fit on the FES or the buses. So we have a specific assembly facility and assembly line wherein we do this work, which is of high precision. I would just like to show some components. I think now seeing the component, you would understand what we are doing in right now in the automotive sector. You can see the door trims of the bus doors. You can see the mud guards, some door trims again, control panels. The left one that you can see is the front dome, which is the biggest component that we've made. This is somewhere around 2.6 meters by 1.4 meters and a draw height of around 550 meters. Millimeters, and this is the whole roof of the cabin of the Volvo buses. We also do a lot of dashboards for various different companies in India, and we are currently exporting to the GCC as well. So these are some of our clients. As you can see, mostly we have covered nearly all the OEMs which are in India and some abroad as well. So that's our portfolio and the client's portfolio. Some of the rewards that our customer had given, and also we featured in Motor India magazines, plus a lot of stress has been given to the components of aesthetic value now in the buses, and that is why many of the local newspapers as well as the national newspapers have had featured us on their columns. These are some rewards that we've got from the our customers. So coming on to future, I think we were quite interested in looking forward to the Indonesian market, as I was discussing with Sridhar the other day as well. As you know, nowadays aesthetics is also given a priority when you're sitting inside a bus, and you are sitting near the glass and the window, and you need a promising aesthetic looks whenever you're sitting inside, specifically to that market which is catering to a huge tourism industry. So the tourists should have a nice feel of the buses in which they're traveling to. So that's how we were focusing into the Indonesian market, and our prime target was to improve their aesthetic value of the buses, or increase the aesthetics of the components that are used in the interior of the buses. We plan to go global in the by the end of 2028. We are having a plan to come up with a facility in Pune in April 2024. That is just a couple of months away, which will ensure a supply chain for our export market will be smoothened than from Indore that right now we are doing. We would also try to find some opportunities, or to maybe join hands with companies in Southeast Asia, which can benefit us both to mutually grow in developing technologies and products as well on the global front. Some expectations from the Indonesian market that we are having, that once we discuss components on a component level with some companies, the bus companies or the bus manufacturers or the bus bodybuilders, we would really want to associate ourselves from the inception of the component that have to be designed, because we know a lot about vacuum forming and can actually help them in making a good, cost-effective and a robust component. Also some expectation that some understanding of vacuum forming limitations to be known to people in Indonesia or the bus market. So maybe if they are not known to them, maybe I can explain after this this webinar. What I would like to understand is that how SCM is carried out in the Indonesian bus market, in terms of LCs or payments, or maybe supply chain, how the material is transported and how it is shipped from here, and etc. So these are some expectations that I have from the Indonesian market. Plus, I am actually really looking forward to the BUSWORLD that is going to take place in May. And as I think there's a lot of scope and opportunity that I can see in the Indonesian market currently, as the market is growing a lot of, as in the opening sentences it was said that a lot of emerging EV players and electrical buses are coming into picture and starting their manufacturing in Indonesia. So I think that's all from my end. Sridhar, you can take over.
Aditya, thank you very much for marrying technology and art together. I think that's what I picked up as the core of your presentation, and also for taking the time to speak with us when you are not so well. You're still recovering from an infection. And most importantly, we look forward to welcoming you at BUSWORLD Southeast Asia, the exhibition. I will, of course, come to you with some questions down the line. But first, Leon, let us go to Mr. Swami. I'll go to Mr. Giridharan at the end. Can we have a slide, please, Leon? Yeah. So, Mr. Swami, is no stranger to BUSWORLD or BUSWORLD webinars. He is the Sales and Marketing Director for New Armada, a very prominent bodybuilder, and also a former chairman of the Indonesian Bodybuilders Association, a very influential body. Mr. Swami not only has technical expertise, but he's also very generous with sharing his knowledge. So he's always a welcome addition to the panel. Mr. Swami, I know that you don't have a structured presentation, but you've heard all our speakers. So feel free to share your remarks and your thoughts, and then we can take it from there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dudar. First of all, we want to say that Happy New Year for everybody and good afternoon in Indonesia and good morning in the European country and India also good afternoon. Okay, let me make a short because it is very interesting that the presentation and very interesting also for the last presentation of the thermoforming and also for the retarder. We want to make a comment because in Indonesia most of the buses is not yet equipped with the retarder. But last discussion, I already mentioned also that the retarder is very important in Indonesia because now it's become the so many highway roads built and actually the speed of the buses is also become higher and higher, and also the contour of Indonesia way is there is a hill and downhill and etc. I think that is the very important that we're talking about the retarder. Last time also that I think that 2 years ago I already mentioned to the government also that it's very important that we must concern about the retarder to equip in our buses in Indonesia, but they will consider because that is a regulation that must be made before that all the transporter they use a retarder. I think it's a good opportunity that the retarder factory like Stelma is worldwide is began in worldwide, you know, and I think that if Telma also join the exhibition frequently in Indonesia exhibition like passport this one, that is that become also not only only the users but also the government come to Indonesia. They know very well what means retarder. They can make a presentation to the government in Indonesia. Is very that it will be very good that what is the advantage of retarder. What you mentioned here in the presentation, and yeah, you know that in Indonesia itself that the technology is maybe India in the term of technology is maybe better than Indonesia because there is a most automotive factory in India is occur in that country, and you know that I think that from the buzzword communication is very good issue that all the suppliers across the world to see Indonesia the growth of Indonesia is very good, and in the automotive for instance automobile industry is very growth very well at this time, yeah. And due to the more better road and our president that makes so many toll road, then it means that the road transportation will become better and better. And what I want to mention the last presentation that is a thermoform. I think that in Indonesia bus market at this moment, we use we use most of the part, we use still the fiberglass, you know, that the fiberglass, I think that is you make a fiberglass, it's just take a longer time, the curing time is so long. And the thermoform technique, I think, is also better for the bus industry in Indonesia. You can shorten the lead time of the production, and also clean, no dusty area. I think it's a better opportunity. What I can mention, you can better also enter the Indonesian factory, bring to Indonesia, because there is so many also buses, rear body maker of carrosserie. We call it carrosserie in Indonesia for the bus. I think is also a big opportunity, because if you know that the figure what we want to have in the 5-6 year until 10 years onward, it will be huge amount of the buses will be built in Indonesia. Yeah, you know that in the very short time will be also our capital will be moved to Kalimantan, and also that will be grow and grow for the transportation, because it's not starting from zero. The transportation also will be built up the transportation the transportation, and also in the new IKN that is in the changing of the capital of Indonesia. And what I can comment, that is another comment, that is the important thing is that you come Indonesia, because the person from the government already announced also what is how is the rule and what is the bureaucracy, how the bureaucracy is better and better. That I think for the investor is easier to make the business in Indonesia. I think he must try that, because the business for the bus business in Indonesia is challenging at this moment. We cannot now. I can say that it's a challenging for growing in Indonesia. And from this buzzword event, I think it's very important for across the world, because we can exchange our mindset, what we can do better and better in the near future. I think is that my few comment on this buzzword buzzword webinar.
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Any question, specific question? I can welcome to very welcome to us.
Yes.
Thank you.
I will come to you, of course. I mean, we'll go around the table now. We'll start the question and answer. Mr. Giri, the reason I came to you at the end was you had a fabulous presentation at the start. You heard all the other Indian component manufacturers speaking. You had Mr. Mohammed speaking about the investment opportunities and landscape in Indonesia, regulations, etc. So, simple question: what is next for Uno Minda in Indonesia, and how soon will you start making seats in Indonesia? That's about it.
Thanks, Sridhar. So, we do make seats already in Indonesia. As I told you, we supply to Daimler, but that's for the commercial vehicle truck side, not the bus passenger side. So we do see some challenges in terms of buses at this point. We haven't explored the market, to be frank. So any export directly from India in terms of the logistics would not work out. So we have to be local, because it's a voluminous product. So this is something that we will explore. Having said that, I would like to react to what I heard about how we need regulations to push forward on safety. I believe slightly otherwise. I think it is for the industry to come and educate our customers and our own brethren that safety is primary and doesn't need to be driven by regulation. For instance, in India, we don't have a regulation for a 3-point seat belt on a passenger seat. It only says 5 seats or 6 seats, which do not have a front seat in front of them, need to have a lap belt. But there are buses with 3-point seat belt because people see the benefit of having that and the improved safety that it provides. So rather than depend on regulation, I would urge the industry to work forward and deliver the best product to the customer, and they will choose safety. And this is a change that's happening world over. That's my firm belief. Thanks.
So do you feel, Mr. Giridharan, that alongside voluntary demonstration of technology, do we need to also lobby with the government in some way to make safety an imperative?
To the contrary, I said, we don't need to lobby. If we show the technology and its benefits, the industry will pick it up. They will choose. And that's a call that we need to take, that how good is my technology and what benefit it gives. And, the market is out there waiting to see improved products to take it up.
Fair. That's a very clear perspective, right? So from here, since safety was the standpoint, let me go to Sriram. Sriram, can you see us and hear us? Sriram?
Yes.
Yeah. So when I think safety in this panel, I think of you first. So one thing, safety, whether it is by mandate or by industry demonstrating its competence, safety is absolutely important. There is something that you cannot compromise. You can compromise in aesthetics, you can compromise in the paint scheme, but you cannot compromise on lives, right? That's very important. So first thing is retarders. There is no question that it's a very essential product. It's been applied in India also. But I go back to the discussion that we had, the pre-discussion that we had, where Mr. Swami mentioned that this is a right product for Indonesia, but we need to look at pricing in an intelligent way. And there, I think you mentioned the advantages of indigenizing your product in India. Maybe you can expand on the thought.
Yeah, first, see, I partially agree with Giridhar. So it has sometimes safety takes a backseat to how much ever you want to implement and how much ever you want to demonstrate, engage, and tell them. So the some certain things like environment or safety should be primarily driven by the governmental agency, where there is a more bigger economic loss. People do not see it visibly, and that's where we all stand. Yeah, 3-point belt or retard. Everybody looks for it's a commercial vehicle, so people will look for. It's a very price sensitive market, and similar to India, I suppose. So it is very difficult to tell that whether our demonstration and our engagement would drastically bring them the awareness of safety, but we will do our best to assure you. So that's where we stand on the safety. As far as the indigenization is concerned, yes, we know India or Indonesia have necessarily will be a price sensitive. The other day, Swami was saying the retard would cost approximately 10% of the bus price or the truck price. So which is unacceptable to most of the operators in India, and that would be similar for Indonesia. So we need to be closer, and some point of time I have to demonstrate the overall cost economics, the return on investment, and the safety. Of course, the safety is the biggest feature of all those, and we have done a extensive work in India. So we are almost at 50%, except certain key components like electronics and the heart of the retard, we call it as a hub. Except these two components, we have indigenized everything, and we have a quality supplier in India. So initially, if at all we get across to Indonesian market, so we will be initially supporting that from India, and later on we will actively involve localizing in Indonesia too. That's what I'm thinking, and I'm looking at it at this moment from the management point of view.
So the key point is that you must be in Indonesia to make retarders an attractive prospect. So therefore, I think think we start to see you in May, and then when we see your products, the next step follows, which is to localize. Typically, what is the time as an attractive market?
So we do not have it's a first step for us, and we would that's a first engagement with this market. So we will look at it hopefully in May, and then we can decide upon the action plan and also the timelines. Once we understand, once we talk to the government agencies, once we talk to some of the partners like Swami and other people, and then Daimler, of course, in Indonesia. So through the Daimler India, through the Daimler Brazil or France, and I think, but it is definitely an interesting market, I would say, because the length and breadth is more or less similar, and the terrains are more or less similar, and with high terrains and hilly terrains. So of course, and the mining operation is also huge in Indonesia. So I'm looking at both the options, the truck market and also the bus market.
Very well. Thank you, Sriram. So
Yes.
let's go to Mr. Mohammed now. Mr. Mohammed, you made a lot of points in your presentation, so I can't possibly go through every one of them, except that when people go through them, you will get a lot of emails and requests for further information. But from my standpoint, maybe one question. In your position as a promoter, as an evangelist for investment in Indonesia, what are the 1, 2, 3 main issues that you are focused on solving or making better for investors in Indonesia? I mean, you can just list out 3 things that come to mind.
Yes, thank you, Sridhar. As I mentioned earlier, the investors need to have a minimum investment, $700,000 US dollars. So in terms of this, not all the investors could do the business plan, because some of them would only do the trading ones, or the other ones, they could have some warehouse operation in Indonesia, in particular located in Indonesia. But yes, this is something that very crucial, because this is the government regulation that require the investors, especially the foreign ones, need to have like 700,000 US dollars. The other part is to find the local good partner. This is something that very crucial for investors. It's like the analogy is like marriage, is sometimes quite difficult, but if you find the right one, then the chemistry and all the trustworthy, the one that Uno Minda presentation has is one of the worldly fine for. And the third part, we as part of government is stand ready to assist any inquiries regarding the any concern from the investors, especially for Ministry of Investment, because we have quite target from the presidents always increasing every years to help the Indonesian economy. So this is something that we would like to hear and also address and solve on in terms of assisting the foreign investors wants to have in Indonesia. I think that's 3 points from me, Mr. Sridhar. Thank you.
I really like the answer. My supplementary question is, in terms of making it easier for investors to invest, would you look at, I mean, you already mentioned there's a single window online clearance that you can secure. Are you taking any such other measures that will make it easier for Indonesian, for external investors to access the market?
Yes, for this single window I mentioned, we could also access through website www.oss.go.id. This is the online single submission, which you could find any basic information that any foreign investors will need to look on. But in terms of a specific investor, for instance, like the there are some discussion through the webinar regarding the safety, regarding the bus opportunity, regarding the spare part opportunity. My suggestion will be directly engage with the association. So because this is the usually they're the one that already in the market. I think also if the newly investors would like to hear or engage with them, then we could happily to assist them. Thank you, Mr. Sudha.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. So thank you. So let me again move to Aditya. Hopefully your throat holds on well.
Yeah.
You give a lot of you give a lot of very interesting technical information, and for somebody wanting to understand technology in a very short way, it was a very good presentation. But tell me how easy. You already mentioned a lot of expansion plans in India. You want to go global by 2028 is what I understood. Tell me how easily scalable and how easily replicable would your technology and your solutions be in a market like Indonesia? Would we need to do a lot of spade work, or would it be fairly easy to do that?
So scalability won't be that challenge for us initially anyways, because when we are already planning to set up a plant in Pune, we have gone through all the stuff that we need to for putting up plant for vacuum forming. We basically on infrastructure, we just need a vacuum forming machine and the router to cut. These are basic infrastructure, major infrastructure that we need. It doesn't take a lot of space. It is also not a huge investment anyways. So saying that if we can be an automotive ancillary for a particular OEM, let's suppose for India, if it's Tata, we can easily put a plant near them or maybe in the vicinity, and the proximity, so that that we can and they can prosper as well together.
So similarly, if you were to look at Indonesia, you would have the same kind of calculation. You put up a plant next to a key customer.
Yeah. Because in ABS components, there are a lot of challenges and concerns which come up as and when there's a change in the design of the bus interior or the bus for that matter as a whole. And so if we talk about aesthetics, you have to be you have to hit the nail. You cannot keep gaps or things lying around like that in aesthetical sense. So there are a lot of changes that there's a cycle that we have to go through by prototyping and prototyping again until unless it's a perfection. So for that also we need to have a localized setup so that the turnaround times for the changes is reduced to a lot. So definitely, I mean, if we see Indonesia as a market, and if we are able to pitch in our components and get a couple of good customers there with a huge amount of business, definitely we can think of putting up a plant in Indonesia as well.
Great. And do you also have design competence in terms of helping them design new products?
Yeah. So as in my presentation as well, we have a dedicated design team which is working only for the vacuum formed components. We also do a lot of reverse engineering. Reverse engineering means that the existing component we can convert into ABS component. So say, for example, we have a component in FRP or a sheet metal. Just if we can get the component, we can do the reverse engineering and convert it into the ABS thermoformed or vacuum formed components. So yeah, that skill we are having. We are ready to collaborate and mutually develop components which is cost-effective solution and good in aesthetics as well.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So, thank you, Aditya. So what I do now is let me go around the table for one final round of question in which you can answer my question and also perhaps share your closing remarks before I take audience questions, because we do have some audience questions, some of which have been answered by our panelists. So, Mr. Swami, let me come back to you again. Okay. We have already discussed the growth of the Indonesian bus industry. We've discussed the investment climate. We've discussed different kind of components that could apply. In your opinion, what is the gap that Indian suppliers can fill in Indonesia? I mean, Mr. Giri mentioned earlier that the Japanese are technology leaders and the Chinese are price leaders.
Yes.
In which areas and which positioning can Indian suppliers come and help? And how can you support them as Askarindo?
There is a two strategy actually, such as in my company, in New Armada. We just only two choice, buy or make. But the competition is very tight. The China product is also so many come into Indonesia. But we can do, if we are joint venture with such kind of the company, what the thermoplastic company, they have knowledge and joint venture with our company and supply for private use or supply for every bus maker in Indonesia. There is one thing, but Indonesia market is very tight, very tough market because for the industry component, because you know in Japan is may be expensive, and China at this time is a good choice because the goods is cheap and reliable enough. But if India product can make such kind of China product, maybe they can compete because we have the borderline that we selling price of the product itself is very tough, you know, that we cannot in Indonesia if you mentioned that the big bus itself is in the term of price is very low, you know, that we must to make our best to consider how to make a cheapest one and still reliable and also safety. Actually, safety is that is of the variable we must to compete in our market. Otherwise, it's very difficult to grow up, you know. Therefore, I see the technology is India is okay. It's okay. The technology is okay, but how to we don't know yet. We don't examine we don't yet try the India's product in Indonesia at this moment. Maybe it is time to look at the Indian product or India's product and the developing in Indonesia.
So what I sense, Mr. Swami, thank you very much, is in conclusion, what you're saying is that Indian products, Indian technology is good, but you would like to take a first-hand experience of it and try it out for yourself. And the Indonesian market remains open to all kinds of quality products, and that you will ultimately choose what is the best quality and price combination that works for you in a very price-sensitive market.
Yes.
Correct?
That's correct. Yes, correct. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think let me move on to Mr. Giridharan here. Mr. Giridharan, since you've been around for so long in Indonesia's company and you have such multiple product lines across segments, what are some of the learnings or insights that you can share with us about the Indonesian market with all other panelists in the audience?
Okay. If you look at the Indonesian market, and I will talk in relation to the Indian market, so that because then that will help the Indian industry. The quality expectation for the Indonesian customer is higher than that of the Indian customer. While the Indian customer would be comfortable with features and go for it, the reliability expectation is much higher in Indonesia. So this is something that people have to keep be mindful of. So like Mr. Swamy was mentioning, he is ready to try, but there are examples in the Indonesian industry where people have tried, not found it reliable enough or durable enough, and dropped it. And it's been very difficult for them, those companies, to bounce back. So this is something that I think we see as a key difference between the Indian industry and the Indonesian industry and the customer in general. Having said that, these things can definitely be overcome with a strong design and a strong supply chain management. And so the recommendation that I would have is to develop a good local supply chain. And that would be very important for anybody planning to be there. Notwithstanding the 40% localization requirement, that is something more from a commercial point of view. But whichever supply chain you do, make it reliable in terms of both quality and ability to deliver, and that can help you become more successful.
So again, very articulate response. So, I mean, just to kind of sum up what you've just said, you've said essentially that it's a technologically more demanding market, Indonesia, reliability-wise also. Yet you have to conform to a price. So you must be very intelligent in how you configure the supply chain and you manage expectations in a good way. Have I summarized you correctly?
Very good. Yes. Thanks.
Thank you. So let me now.
Can I mention? Sorry. Can I mention
Yes,
one more thing extra?
Please,
because
please.
I have experience. We use also the product from Turkey. It means Turkey is a part of European, but we can compete the price. We use more for doors, carpet, and some mechanical things. We buy from Turkey also. They can beat also the China product.
Wonderful. That is very, very good perspective. So what you're saying, Mr. Swamy, is that technology and price don't have to be mutually exclusive. They can both be on the table at the same time. That is very encouraging. So let me go to Sriram. Sriram, that should be used.
I'd like to add to what Mr. Swamy said. This is very interesting because logistics from Turkey would be more expensive than logistics from India. So notwithstanding the logistics cost, it is very good, meaning it's very encouraging. Yes. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's a good insight. Yes.
So Sriram, I think this should be very interesting for your principals in France also. France is much farther away. You've come a little bit east to India, so they should be encouraged to make the journey further east.
Absolutely. So I think, I agree. So I have understood now from both the panelists that it's more than the price sensitiveness. It's more a technology. It is better than India. Expectations are more than India. That's what I have understood. So we will check. We will not, because we will always look for high end of the technology and high end of the quality. The price is the only issue with Telma always. So we will look at it in a positive way. Yes, possible.
Great, Sriram. Thank you. So Aditya, just as a concluding remark from your side, you already mentioned your expectations from the Indonesian market. I think what you'd be looking for primarily would be a good local partner. Is that correct?
Yeah, that would be, good enough if we have a local partner as well, so that we can collaborate with them mutually and, understand first the Indonesian market dynamics, how the supply chain is, going on. Say, for example, we can have a help with Mr. Giridhan as well, because he has been applying there for the past so many years, and maybe meeting up with him, understanding the dynamics of Indonesian market, and and then capitalize on what information we get. Definitely, we can plan some collaborator there, or some company where we can join hands and then supply to the Indonesian market. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Aditya. And Mr. Dafitri, you have experience both as an Indonesian who works with an Indian company, right? And you must probably know your own market, home country very well, and the supply chain around there. So maybe just a couple of points of how one can optimize on the local supply chain. I mean, what can be good logistics practices, for example?
Okay, Sridhar, thank you for the question. That's actually a several point we can highlight through this supply chain in our current condition. Dealing with all the OEM, which is more of them naming is all Japanese, and also our competitor also, most of these Japanese also. So now in terms of the logistic, actually many logistic partners in Indonesia also now growing, also where they have also good warehousing in this country. And also recently, as far as concern of the value, I mean the price also in terms of logistic also slightly now more competitive in the my experience in Indonesia, because we are also now that cost awareness is become the prime also at our organization now. Now we have established also some kind of relation with the local logistic partner among the many logistic partner, the big player logistic partner in the country. They are also learning much also with the other competitor also. So I think my highlight point, which is there is no much obstacle currently. Especially the government also have improved, developed the much infrastructure in this country, like now many highway already being developed also, and now in terms of the transport congestion also now much reduced in this country. So I can be assured that this now much easy for any investor to start business in Indonesia.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Mohammed, the final closing remark from your side. Presumably from what you've said, you remain very accessible. Should there be any request, all that one has to do is to contact you through your coordinates. And you can immediately start supporting them. You could potentially get them to meet with the Indonesian investment and commerce ministries also. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Sridhar. As part of government, we certainly will assist. We also have base in India. We also have some embassy and also the Trade Promotion Center, ITPC. As I understand, you already engaged with them as well. The ITPC we have in Trade Attaché, we have in Delhi, and in Chennai we have Trade Promotion Center. So in terms of having engagement with the Indonesian government, we will be happy to assist any inquiries regarding trading, also investing in Indonesia.
Thank you very much. I think the proof of a good discussion or a good session is in how many questions you get, right? And how many interesting perspectives you get. So from this point of view, this has been a good discussion because we have a fair amount of feedback from the audience. So the first question that was posed a long time back comes from my friend Bala, who works with Motor India magazine. So his question, if I summarize, is pretty much that if India is already a low-cost market providing a good mix of quality and price, what is the benefit to making in Indonesia? To which Mr. Giridharan, I will summarize your response. He agrees that India is a cost-competitive market, but in Indonesia, if you do localize well, the 40%, as you mentioned, just being an indicative figure, if you can localize well beyond that, you can address a huge market there in Indonesia and also export to the ASEAN region. Correct, Mr. Giridharan? Yeah.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So Then there was a question that for Mr. Muhammad, where somebody asked about setting up a production factory on the island of Sumatra, especially in the provinces of Lampung or South Sumatra, which of course should be better than the island of Java. So he has answered the incentives given by sector priorities for location. If you choose to set up in South Sumatra and Lampung, we could connect you with industrial estate in those provinces. So very clear answer. Then there are some comments. There is one comment which perhaps says that it is possible for Indian companies with the right policies and government support to be able to offer a good mix of quality and price, that it is not an India versus China discussion. It is probably an India and China discussion. So there is scope for all kinds of companies to flourish in Indonesia. And then there is the final point wherein we have a comment saying that, Mr. Giridhar, interestingly, where they say that the safety regulations in Indonesia are not strong enough. I'm just reading out the question fully. In my opinion, the regulations regarding bus regulations in Indonesia are still not strong enough. The facts on the road prove that there are still many violations in buses in Indonesia in the daily operations, such as uncontrolled bus speeds, especially in Indonesia's East Java and Central Java Asias. If I only increase the level of safety on the bus, I don't think it's enough if there are still many violations in its implementation. Maybe Indonesia should strengthen regulations regarding bus passenger transportation so that bus transportation becomes one of the guidelines of Indonesian society. I presume this would have come from somebody in Indonesia who's pretty unhappy with some incident that would have occurred in their immediate vicinity. But that's not to question what you said, Mr. Giridhar. I think there is scope both for industry to do its own bit and also for the government to do what it thinks is right. So on this note, I think we've had an excellent discussion and we've had audience staying in very good numbers between 80 to 100 all throughout the discussion. And so we should not keep them waiting any longer. Leon, if you can just change the slide and show and present the screen where we show that all presentations will be available on the BUSWORLD Southeast Asia link. Leon? Yeah. So you see this link, busworldsoutheastasia.org. By evening, we would have collected all the presentations and also shared a video link to this entire webinar for all of you who want to re-watch it or who may have missed it altogether. So do not worry on that account. Now, the final and welcome task for the day is to introduce Jan. Jan, like I mentioned earlier, can we have a slide, please, Leon? Jan, like I mentioned earlier, is Managing Director of BUSWORLD Foundation. And as is very clear by now, BUSWORLD doesn't only offer exhibition stalls, but offers complete knowledge and connect. And to this extent, the BUSWORLD Foundation plays a very, very important role. Jan, over to you. What did you hear and what are your impressions from the webinar and what to expect from BUSWORLD Southeast Asia? Over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Sridhar, and thank you very much to all the panelists. I really look forward to see you in Jakarta in May. What we learned is that since 2 years now, Southeast Asia, even excluding China, Southeast Asia has become the fastest growing bus market in the world, right? It used to be Latin America, but Southeast Asia, and we're excluding, as I said, China from that part, has taken over that first position. So that is the wider context in which this conversation is taking place. Secondly, we see that the Indonesian government has clearly made the choice to strongly incentivize the modal shift from individual motorized transportation to collective passenger transport modes by road. So that means that there is a strong push for the bus industry in Indonesia as well. And that is why there is a demand for 45,000 buses in the coming 5 years. So we see 9,000 buses in an average per year, rebuilds, etc. And that is why Mr. Lumajang told us that there is a shortage in the supply chain coming, right? Especially in chassis, but also in other products as well. And a very specific situation for the Indonesian market is that, yes, it is price driven as other markets in Southeast Asia. It is definitely technology driven as well. That comes clearly from this panel discussion, but it is also very much demand driven. And by demand driven, I mean that the input of the client, the input of the bus operator towards the bodybuilder and towards the OEM is very, very strong in Indonesia. So that is why I think it is extremely important that you have an opportunity to show your products, not only to potential partners in Indonesia, but also to, let's say, the final client, the bus operator, who is telling the bodybuilder which kind of HVAC system he wants in the bus, what kinds of seats he wants in the bus, etc. So that is a very specific situation as well. And to give a response to that situation, we will be inviting 6, 7 big PTAs from the world. I'm talking about Transport for London. I'm talking about the PTA from Madrid. I'm talking about probably a strong Chinese city, a bigger Indian city, and a big PTA from Australia, to tell us why they made a choice in increasing the safety measures, how they are implementing the energy transition in the industry, and how they are financing this whole evolution. Bringing those PTAs will bring the Indonesian PTAs as well to the exhibition and to the conference. So that is why we are trying to create a very holistic event there, in presence of the operators, in presence of the Indonesian bodybuilders and potential partners for importation and even production in Indonesia, and of course the Indian and other importers from different countries in the area. We would like to create a very holistic event there somewhere mid-May in Jakarta at BUSWORLD. So thank you very much for your input on those 3 seminars. We have learned that safety is a major aspect in bringing along this modal shift. It's also a very strong means to finance all the other evolutions in the industry. If we do not grow the bus industry, financing the implementation of new technologies will be more difficult than if we do not. So thank you very much. I look forward to see you in May. I look forward to hear further of your input there, and definitely to see your products. Thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jan.
And
Thank you so much.
thank you. And thank you all members of the audience for staying with us for so long.
Thank you.
We will make the presentations available to all of you. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you in May.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
saya ingin memberikan gambaran atau bagaimana sih tantangan
And be prepared for the next media exhibition.